Welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Pastor Rick Utze from Maranatha Community Fellowship in Plain City, Ohio. There's a Dutch company called Van Moof, and they're a bicycle company. They build high-end commuter bikes. And when they build these bikes, they ship them out to their customers, and they've been having a problem with a lot of them getting damaged. And so there's nothing worse than building an expensive product, gets to the customer, they're not satisfied because it's damaged. They tried all different kinds of shippers, same problem. So they did something very smart. On the outside of the box, they put a graphic of a large screen TV. And they found that when they did that the actual damages dropped 70 to 80%. Because people who handle these boxes see the TV, see its electronics, and treat the box differently than if they thought just a bicycle was in it. And so when they did that, it was great. All of a sudden they were handled better and the product arrived in the shape that it was in. And as I thought about that, that's kind of like how life is sometimes. When we look at our circumstances and we look at things, we treat it as the outside of a box. We look at it and life may stink. Our life may be going badly. And all we see is the external. All we see is what's going on the outside, and we get discouraged. And there's a story in John 11 about a person who Jesus loved, several people that Jesus loved. And it says, a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. And it says, the sisters sent to him, which was Jesus, Lord, he whom you love is ill. But when Jesus heard it, he said, this illness does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. So they came to Jesus, said, hey, this person you love is sick. Can you please come help? And he says, hey, it's not going to lead to death. The Son of God and God is going to be glorified through the situation. And then it says that he stayed for 2 more days in the place that he was. Like, he delayed going to help Lazarus. And then it goes down several verses later. It says, when Jesus came, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now, wait a minute. Something's going on here. It doesn't seem like Jesus was holding up his end of the bargain, does it? Because he said it wasn't going to lead to death. And when he got there, both Mary and Martha, the 2 sisters, said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. And Jesus said, okay, listen, do you believe that your brother will rise again? And she said, I believe that in the resurrection he will. And Jesus says, I'm the resurrection and I'm the life. Do you believe? And then he says, take me to the tomb. And he goes to the tomb. It's been 4 days since Lazarus had died. And Jesus said, I want you guys to take away that stone. And here's where Martha said, life stinks. She goes, Lord, by this time there will be an odor, for he has been dead for 4 days. On the outside it looked like, what are you doing, Jesus? I mean, it is going to stink like crazy if you open that thing. And they opened it, and Jesus told Lazarus, he says, come out. And he came out, and he's still tied up in all these cloths, and Jesus says, unbind him and let him go. And so here you can see, right, the situation wasn't exactly as they thought it was, because Jesus says, I want God to get glory. I'm going to perform a sign to you that you can't deny, because I'm about ready to die and I'm going to be resurrected. And I'm going to show you my power, and I'm going to glorify my Father in heaven. And so I'm not here today to tell you that all your circumstances are going to turn out the way you desire, exactly how you want them to go. But here's the bottom line. We just like to look at the outside of the box, what we see with our eyes. But there's something more important going on the inside and circumstances that are happening that we don't understand. But know this, Jesus understands your situation. He was deeply moved and greatly troubled when he saw Mary and Martha and the sadness they were going through and the effects of sin. But he had a purpose in that situation. It was to glorify God. He has a purpose in your situation, and believe it, that he is going to work out everything in your life if you're following him to the glory of God and for your eternal good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Bottom Line.